About 4,500 years ago, a wonder of the world was built in Egypt, one that continues to amaze people even today: the Great Pyramid of Giza. Standing at 147 meters, it remained the tallest structure in the world for over 4,000 years. It's made from heavy stones, and it's said to weigh 6 million tons. This is much heavier compared to the present-day tallest structure, the Burj Khalifa, which weighs a mere 500,000 tons. But here's the question that has left people dumbstruck. How was it built? Back then, people didn't have cranes, bulldozers, or modern technology. In fact, they didn't even have wheels. Yet they built a monument that still stands. Can you imagine a structure lasting for over 4,500 years, standing through the hot summers, storms, torrential rains, and weathering? There's no other surviving structure as old or as big as this one. So how was this possible? Let's explore the mystery of the pyramids. The Great Pyramid is arguably the most enigmatic structure on the face of the Earth. Built around 2,500 BC, it remained the tallest structure on Earth for more than 3,500 years. These gargantuan tombs, made of shining white limestone, were designed to hide the dark secrets of the dead. As we go further back in time, it becomes increasingly difficult to figure out exactly what happened, when, and how. Historians estimate that the Great Pyramid of Giza was built around the year 2560 BC by Pharaoh Khufu. The monarchs of ancient Egypt were called pharaohs. Unfortunately, we don't know much about Pharaoh Khufu, except that he was the second monarch of the 4th dynasty in Egypt's Old Kingdom. His reign is a highly debated topic. Some historians claim it lasted for 23 years, others say 34 years, and some even estimate it lasted more than 60 years. If you look at the site today, you'll see more than just the Great Pyramid. There are 2 other pyramids on the same site. The second largest is the Pyramid of Khafre, built by Khufu's son. The third and smallest pyramid is the Pyramid of Menkaure, built by Khafre's son. Along with these, there is also the Great Sphinx and several smaller burial tombs. In total, there are 118 pyramids of varying shapes and sizes, though many have eroded over time, leaving just a few in good condition, especially the 3 at Giza. Now, why were these pyramids built? They were tombs for the pharaohs. The ancient Egyptians believed in the afterlife. They thought that after death, the soul traveled to the underworld, where it would be judged by the gods. Those who lived a virtuous life would remain immortal in the afterlife. To prepare for this, the pharaohs commissioned grand tombs to be built for themselves while they were alive. A large amount of food, treasures, jewelry, furniture, and clothes would be buried with them so that they could use these items in the afterlife. After their deaths, their bodies were mummified and sealed in wooden or stone sarcophaguses. You might wonder how we know the pyramids were built as tombs. There are 2 main reasons for this. Scripts have been discovered on several other pyramids that describe the burial customs of the time. Most of the historical pyramids in Egypt and Sudan have been used as tombs. However, when archaeologists entered the Great Pyramid of Giza, they found 3 relics and an empty sarcophagus, which is believed to belong to Pharaoh Khufu. Unfortunately, the treasures that were supposed to surround it have likely been looted long before archaeologists arrived. This has led to several alternative theories. One popular but highly controversial theory is that the Great Pyramid was a power plant capable of generating electricity. Some people claim that the ancient Egyptians were far more advanced technologically than we realize, and they had learned how to harness electricity. They point to ancient artwork on temple walls that depict images resembling light bulbs as evidence of this technology. However, these images are more likely a depiction of Egyptian mythology. Another theory suggests that the pyramids were granaries used to store crops. This theory, proposed by American politician Ben Carson in 1998, argues that Joseph, the father of Jesus Christ, built the pyramids for this purpose. However, historians strongly disagree with this view, and the consensus is that the pyramids were indeed built as tombs for the pharaohs. Now let's get to the biggest question. How were these massive pyramids built? This remains the most mysterious aspect of their construction. How did the people of ancient Egypt manage to build a 147-meter tall structure using enormous stones weighing between 2.5 tons and 80 tons? Each stone was carved with precision, even though they had no advanced tools. And how were these stones stacked on top of each other when wheels didn't even exist? And all of this in just 20 years. For a long time, people believed that slaves built the pyramids. The idea of poor, starved slaves working endlessly under brutal conditions was popularized by the Greek historian Herodotus in the 5th century BC. But we now know that this isn't true. The workers who built the pyramids were highly skilled laborers. They weren't starved or abused. In fact, they were well-fed and lived in nearby cities during construction. They worked together on this national project, contributing their skills as a unified workforce. Around 20,000 to 30,000 workers were involved in building the Great Pyramid, working 10-hour days. The pyramid required an astonishing amount of materials: 5.5 million tons of limestone, 8,000 tons of granite, and 500,000 tons of mortar. Most of the materials came from nearby quarries, but some were sourced from as far as 800 kilometers away in southern Egypt. So how were these heavy stones cut? Copper tools were used to carve them, and dolerite was used to break the harder granite rocks. There were also unique methods employed, such as using wooden wedges soaked in water to expand and crack the rocks. But the real question is, how did they move these massive stones to the pyramid site? Since wheels weren't used, one theory is that they used rafts to float the stones down the Nile River. Once the stones arrived at the construction site, they were transported over wet ground using sledges. A fascinating study from 2014 revealed a painting found in the tomb of Jehudiotep, depicting workers pulling a statue on a sledge. The painting shows a man pouring water onto the sand to reduce friction and make it easier to pull heavy objects. This theory was later tested by physicists, and it was found that adding just 2% to 5% water to sand makes it much easier to pull heavy loads. But how were these stones lifted and stacked on top of each other? Without wheels, it's unlikely they could have used traditional pulleys. A more plausible theory suggests that ramps were built to move the stones up to the higher levels of the pyramid. In 2015, archaeologists uncovered a 4,500-year-old wooden ramp in a quarry, which supports this theory. The ramps would have been used to haul the stones up, and the workers would have used ropes and pulleys to pull the stones into place. Some even suggest that levers were used to move the stones into position, based on ancient Egyptian mechanisms like the shaduf, which was used to lift water from the Nile. But even with these theories, there is still a question of how they managed to work so quickly, placing stones every 3 minutes over 20 years. This is why the construction of the pyramids remains a mystery to this day. Despite these theories, we know that the Great Pyramid of Giza stands strong due to its unique design and construction methods. The base layers were built without mortar, while the upper layers were sealed with mortar for added stability. The pyramid has survived numerous earthquakes and weathering over thousands of years, thanks to its sturdy construction. The mystery doesn't end there, though. The outermost layer of the pyramid, made of fine white limestone, would have shone brightly in the sun. Unfortunately, over time, these layers have worn away, but a small part of the original outer layer can still be seen on the Pyramid of Khafra. Finally, the design of the pyramids is incredibly precise. Did you know that the directions of the pyramids are aligned exactly with the cardinal points north, south, east, and west, with an error of just 1/15 of a degree? There was no compass or modern technology back then, yet the Egyptians managed to achieve this precision. Theories suggest they may have used the autumn equinox or the stars to guide their alignment. Some even believe the pyramids are aligned with the stars in Orion's belt, but this theory is debated. In any case, the design of the pyramids reflects the advanced knowledge and skill of the ancient Egyptians. Even if we can't explain every detail of how they did it, the pyramids of Giza remain a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. Although many questions remain unanswered, their continued existence and mystery only add to their allure.